Good morning, third grade. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Bible. Today we are in our Bible workbooks, page 126, and we're reading in Acts chapter 28, 1 through 10, and it's on page 1250. So if you want to get all that out and ready, I want to ask you guys a question. So have you ever gone on a trip or a vacation and you needed some help or had a time when either family was nice and welcomed you in and like maybe gave you a place to stay or something like that, or if a stranger ever helped you on a trip. Have you ever had someone who you didn't know just offer your family kindness? Yeah, that happens sometimes, right? Where maybe you have car trouble or something goes wrong, and there's just someone who's driving by and they come and help you out and your family, right? So it's kind of a neat thing. Well, the reason I ask you that is because in Paul's um, this next part that we're going to read in our Bibles today, Paul is shipwrecked on that island Malta, and they're going to meet some strangers, people that they don't know, and we're going to see how they treat them. Okay, so have your Bibles open to 1250. Really quick, I want to show you guys on the maps. I didn't show you guys last time, and I'm just going to show you real quick here. Okay, so see our map here. I'm going to make it a little smaller here so I can see. Hopefully you can see my cursor. See this little city, or not a city, a little island down here, Malta. This is where their ship ended up running ashore and them swimming to this island. Now they're trying to get up here to Rome. So this is their end. They started down here, Jerusalem. So they sailed all this, shipwrecked here, and this is where we're gonna pick up on our story. And this is where they're trying to get to. So you can see they're getting close, right? But they're not quite there yet. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this screen, come back to Mrs. Roach. Okay, so page 1250, we're on chapter 28, where it says Paul's ministry on Malta, and some exciting things happen in this chapter. We're going to read the whole chapter 1 through 10. It's only 10 verses. Okay, so here we go. Number 1. Now, when they had escaped, they then found out that the island was called Malta, and the natives showed us unusual kindness, for they kindled a fire and made us all welcome because of the rain that was falling and because of the cold. So when they get on the island, you would think maybe they would be afraid, like, who are these invaders? But no, they made them a fire. They, trying to keep them warm because it was raining at the time. But when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, a viper came out because of the heat and fastened on his hand. Okay, so there must have been a snake hiding in the logs in the wood. And when they lit the wood on fire, the snake obviously doesn't want to catch on fire, so he jumped out, and Paul's hand was right there, and it was a viper. So think of the fangs on a viper, and clenched on, was it his hand, did it say, or his arm? I want to make sure I'm right. Because of the heat, fastened on his hand. Okay, so his hand must have been moving the logs or something. And now he's getting bit by this poisonous viper. Vipers are poisonous, guys. And so do you think they had anti-venom back then? 911 emergency? No, right? So if you get bit by a venomous snake, what probably happens back then? You die, right? Okay, so let's see what happens. So when the natives saw that the creature hanging from his hand, they said to one another, "No doubt this man is a murderer, whom, though he has escaped the sea, yet justice does not allow to live." So they're basically saying, like, look, see, even though he escaped the boat, he didn't die on the boat, he's a prisoner. So like God's getting him by he's getting his due justice by getting bit by the snake. They think Paul's going to die right here. But he shook off the creature onto the fire and suffered no harm. However, they were expecting that he would swell up or suddenly fall down dead. They're kind of waiting for the reaction. Like, is his face going to start puffing up? The poison hits him. Is he going to stop being able to breathe and just fall over? But they're kind of just watching him like, when's the poison going to take effect? But after they had looked for a long time and saw no harm come to him, they changed their minds and said that he was a god. Okay, so remember this happened back in, I think it was Lystra. Remember they were at that city and he healed someone and they thought he was a god, and they're like, no, we're not gods. We're just, this is Jesus Christ doing the miracle. Well, see, Paul's not afraid here. Remember back on the boat, the angel of the Lord told him that he would live. He was going to make it all the way to Rome. So he's not even nervous. So he just, took the snake off. He's like, I'm good. Nothing's going to happen to me. They're watching and waiting. Nothing happens to him. So now they think, oh, he must be a god. Okay, so let's see what happens next. In that region, there was an estate of the leading citizen of the island whose name was Publius, I'm not sure how to say it, who received us and entertained us courteously for 3 days. Okay, so he was like the head leader on the island, this Publius, and he's letting them hang out with him for 3 days. And so probably because they think they think Paul's a god now and something special. So they're like, bring him to the leader, let him, find out more about him. Okay, number 8. And it happened that the father of Publius lay sick of a fever and dysentery. Paul went into him and prayed, and he laid his hands on him and healed him. Okay, so the leader's dad was really sick. He had a really bad fever and a sickness. Paul goes, prays, lays his hand on him, and the father is healed. Okay, they're going to think he's even more of a god now, huh? Okay, so when he had done this, the rest of those on the island who had diseases also came and were healed. They also honored us in many ways, and when we departed, they provided such things as were necessary. So once the word got out, Paul is able to heal people through his prayer. Obviously, it's Jesus, God's healing the people. All these people came, and Paul heals them all. I mean, it was just amazing. And then when it was time to leave, obviously the people on the island were so thankful. They gave them probably food, maybe another boat, I'm not quite sure, but all the things necessary for them to be able to continue their journey onto Rome. So isn't that an amazing little side story here? I just think it's just amazing what God does in people's lives, and that we get to read it now and get to kind of relive it, see how Paul, all the adventures that he had. It's just incredible to me. Okay, all right, so let's get our workbook out. I'm going to share our screen now with the Bible page. And let's see if it comes up here. Should come up. There we go. Okay, all right. And we're going to answer these questions. Okay, actually, we're putting these numbers in order. Okay, so it says, number the events from Acts 28 in correct order. All right, so let's read them all. Oh, I see a yellow word. Do you guys see it? Hospitality. Oh, my Bible. Workbook's on the floor here. Let me get it. Okay, so let's look up hospitality because I see that yellow word, the H. Let's see what hospitality means. Okay, there's only 2 H words, harvest and hospitality. Okay, let's read it together. Hospitality, showing kindness and welcoming visitors. So that's what we were talking about when they didn't know them, right? The people on the island, but they showed them kindness. They welcomed them to their island. Okay, so people on Malta showed hospitality to Paul and all the other passengers. Okay, the next one. Paul healed Publius's father and others through God's power. A snake bit Paul's hand. God delivered Paul and the others from a shipwreck to the island of Malta. Or the people on the island were amazed that Paul did not die. Okay, which of those happened first? Look at them all. Yes, number one was God delivered Paul and the others from a shipwreck to the island of Malta. Okay, so now they're on Malta. They got to the island. What happened right when they got to the island? Right. The people on Malta showed hospitality to Paul and all the other passengers. Okay, so now they're on the island. They're starting the fire for them. They're helping to keep them warm. They're showing them kindness. What happens? Paul gets bit by that snake when the fire's lit, right? When it starts heating up, the viper didn't want to die, so he jumped out of the logs. Okay, then what happened after Paul was bit? Yes, the people on the island were amazed that Paul did not die. Remember, they were just watching and waiting for him to have an allergic reaction from the poison. Okay, and then what happened last? Yes, Paul healed Publius's father and the others through God's power. Okay, let's go down. Let me make sure you guys have that. If you paused it and went ahead, good job getting those in correct order. Okay, number 2, it says, write a prayer you think Paul might have prayed on the island of Malta. Okay, so maybe they just arrived, they're shipwrecked on the island. What do you think Paul might have prayed? Dear God. Well, I bet you, because he was always thankful, right? And maybe he thanked God for getting them safe to the island. So maybe we can say that first. Dear God, I'm going to do cursive. Thank you for saving all of us. Do you think Paul probably preached to the people on Malta? I'm sure he did, right? When he was praying over them, he was on fire for Jesus Christ. He wanted everyone to know about him. And so I'm sure he was using that time to be a missionary. So even though he's a prisoner on this trip, Paul actually was able to use this as a missionary trip as well, to probably all of the people on the boat, to the soldiers, and now to these people on the island, right? Thank you for saving all of us. Maybe he even said that. Help, oops, sorry, I wrote kind of messy there. Let me leave a gap here. Help me to teach these people about you. And when I say you, I'm talking about God, right? And then maybe he probably was praying to protect them, right? Keep them safe, protect us. Amen. All right, I was kind of giving some ideas. You do not have to write what I wrote. If you want to write a different prayer, you can write a different prayer. But if it's hard for you to think of one and you want to write my prayer, you can write mine. Okay, so that's up to you. Go ahead and pause the video if you're not done copying this or writing your prayer, and then push play when you're finished copying it. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing our screen here. Okay, friends, so today is Tuesday. What happens on Tuesday? We've got Bible video we watched, math video, no quiz today. We're doing, let me look. Ooh, we're adding and subtracting decimals today, so that'll be fun. And then we have a language video today, and our language video is on fact and opinion, okay? So those are the 3 things we're gonna do. I'm calling all my friends today. So whatever you had done yesterday, we can review if you haven't watched all of our videos. But try to get your videos done, especially if you're an afternoon call. Try to have your videos watched in the morning. That way we can go over it when I give you a call this afternoon. All right, guys? Okay, have a great rest of your morning, and I will see you at math. All right, bye, guys.